Hello, Trump Take 5 here. A lot of stuff going on today. Gonna have to get a little bit patriotic and talk about some of the issues that are going on behind the scenes. But first, let's do what we do and talk about the President Donald J. Trump. We try to give you everything that he did yesterday that was important in less than 5 minutes so that you can avoid the 24-hour news cycle and avoid Trump fatigue. Starting now, Donald Trump is finally shutting down his charitable foundation. You might remember that last year they admitted to violating federal laws on self-dealing. And self-dealing here means that nonprofits can't funnel their charities money to themselves, their businesses, or their families. It's a broad thing. We don't know exactly how that went down, but this is something that they answered on their IRS tax form that they had done. They stopped taking donations last year and they'll be dissolving the charity, but they have to wait until the investigation by the New York Attorney General is complete. Just to be fair, the foundation did donate lots of money to different charities, Salvation Army, Make-A-Wish, Veterans Foundations, but it also appears that they were doing illegal things with that money as well. Speaking of that, the Trump National Golf Club in Worcester County settled a lawsuit using money from that foundation. The golf club then reimbursed the money to the charity, but it did at the time spend $158,000 to settle a lawsuit. The big political shocker of the day was that Trump actually did defend and endorse Roy Moore. Talked in yesterday's video about how he had Mick Mulvaney come out for him and he had Kellyanne Conway come out for him and speak that more or less that getting a Republican in there was more important than what that Republican actually was. Trump said that Moore totally denies the allegations and that we don't need a liberal person in there, a Democrat, Jones. I've looked at his record. It's terrible on crime. It's terrible on the border. It's terrible on the military. So backed into a corner of not being able to replace Moore, it seems that the Republican Party, which is led by Donald Trump, the president, will endorse him regardless of the large number of accusations that he predatorily went after women who were underage so that they can keep their slight majority in the Senate. So politics are a bit of a circus right now. Trump did his thing and tweeted out controversial tweets over the weekend to keep everybody engaged in that. More and more information is coming out about this tax bill. Yesterday, the Washington Post reported that the Nonpartisan Tax Policy Center said that this will actually raise taxes on 50% of Americans by 2027. But Trump came out and said that the plan is that it's going to be a great Christmas because we're going to give the American people a huge tax cut for Christmas. Hopefully that'll be great. Big, beautiful Christmas present. So the state of politics the way they are, his followers, his base will take that as truth. And this is really dangerous. The whole thing is really dangerous for the future of the U.S. economy. They're giving huge tax cuts, permanent tax cuts to corporations who don't need them. They're framing it like they're giving everyone a tax break, but it just doesn't work out that way. When looking at the House bill, tax experts are saying that it has tons of loopholes that only benefit the wealthy. As it is right now, hedge funds could take advantage of the new lower 25% tax rate intended for small businesses, while private equity fund managers could sidestep a new tax on their earnings. None of that is related to the middle class or the poor. And you have to think that these guys, the Republicans here that are from blue states, are committing suicide, political suicide by doing this. This favors the red states because people who live in the blue state, which have higher state taxes, can no longer deduct that. So they are disproportionately being hurt by this bill. So that is a direct violation of serving their constituents. They're doing something that they know will be harmful to them. The things that are going on right now are horrifying in some ways. You have a major political party endorsing a pedophile, an accused pedophile, so that they can get this tax plan through. You have the president saying ridiculous things to NFL players and things like that, while net neutrality is getting gutted. The FCC has announced plans to roll back net neutrality regulations that were put in place by Obama. This is supposed to give us, consumers, people who use the internet, equal access to web content and prevent broadband providers from charging consumers more for certain content. And if you think about this, the person or the entity has the ability to decide which content you have to pay more for, has the ability to control information. There are some people that will never pay more because they can't. So this is super dangerous. This is equally as dangerous as the Sinclair group moving in to take over local stations and not being prevented from buying an ungodly amount of them. There's serious things going on throughout the FCC that are bad for everyone. So that is the roundup of the day. I hope that you will step back from the theater and think about the real issues. This tax bill is going to really cause problems for most Americans, at least 50% of them in the short term, and maybe almost everybody by the long term. There's a lot of criminal activity surrounding the president. That gets to be more and more clear each day, but there's a lot of other issues going on at the same time. So please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Make sure you share this. Help your friends avoid the 24-hour news circus, the polarized bubble version of the news that everyone consumes. Come back tomorrow because I'll be talking to you again.